Okay, good. So, wow. We've been adding to our learning on the pre-intermediate group. We've been learning these 4 different things: have to, don't have to, can and can't. And so much has come up here. It's really important. I'll try to be as quick as I can, but there's so much information here. This might be a long video. If you like it, please share it, because I think this is important. So, can means that you are able to do something. Here's an example: I can eat chocolate. But with can, we can also use I am able to. Okay? So I can eat chocolate, I am able to eat chocolate. Now the thing that's very interesting, we had some problems up here. You must never add the word to after any modal verb. It's always I, then the little modal verb, and then the main verb, always in the infinitive form. So this was a problem. I can do a lot of things, so we mustn't have this little word. I can cook. She can cook. Remember, even though it's she, because it's a modal verb, the main verb is still infinitive. I can sew in clothes. No way. After a modal verb, the main verb is always infinitive, so there's no ing. Just come over to this board for a minute, have a look. With any of these modal verbs, after a modal verb, the main verb is always infinitive. Sorry. Always present simple first person. This is really important. Back to the board. So the opposite of can is can't. Can't means that you are not able to do anything, or something, I should say. She can't eat chocolate. She is not able to eat chocolate. Now this is interesting. When you're using I am able to, you have to remember it's the verb to be. Yes, it's the same as can, but it's still using different English. So you have to say, I am able to, you are able to, he is able to, she is able to. It's much more difficult English. Can is much easier. I can cook, she can cook. It's all the same. So that's can and that's can't. Now, have to means that something is necessary. If you have to do it, you have to do it, yeah? Here are some examples. You have to learn English. And remember, when we're using have to, if it's she, you have to put it in the third person. She has to learn English. Now, the good news is that have to or has to has a modal verb that means the same thing, but you can only use it in the positive. You can't use it as a negative, okay? I'll talk to you more about that another term. So you can say, you have to learn English, she has to learn English, you must learn English, she must learn English. So you don't need to change the main verb because it's a modal verb. And after a modal verb, the main verb is always infinitive. It's always first person, present simple first person. So there are some things there. Have a look at some of the problems that came up. I have to feed my baby every day. You have to use the word to, otherwise the word have has a different meaning. So I have to feed my baby every day. She has to feed her baby. You have to change it into the third person. She has to change it into the third person. Okay, now remember, I must. Main verb is never anything except present simple first person. I must prepare my breakfast every day. She must prepare breakfast every day. With the negative of these, I don't have to make breakfast. He doesn't have to make breakfast. You asked why? Well, the rule for modal verbs is exactly the same as the rule for the auxiliary verb do. It's called the auxiliary verb in grammar, but sometimes I call it the little verb. The modal verbs are little verbs. They help the big verb. Next to the little verb is a big verb. Okay? When you use the auxiliary or the little verb do, or either do or does or don't or doesn't or did or didn't, the main verb is always infinitive, always present simple first person. And that's why. So you can see the mistakes happening. He doesn't have to make breakfast. We made the same mistake down here. When I was a child, I didn't had to. No. I didn't have to. Okay? And of course, when you use it in the positive, that's when you say, I had to, because there's no auxiliary verb do. I think that's about it. Yeah, we went into the past. Have to in the past is had to. So that was something we didn't do yesterday. So I think that's all. Thank you.